Welcome to this edition of Beat Behind Each and Every Product, covering the latest products and features in our platform at Click and Pledge. Today, we are embarking on a deep dive into pledgeTV. Now, this isn't just your standard video hosting thing. It's really a strategic fundraising mechanism, and it's unique to the Click and Pledge platform. We're going to explore how organizations use video, well, not just for telling stories, but to create these, immediate, frictionless donation opportunities.
That's exactly right. Our goal today really is to get past just the feature list and look at the strategic impact. pledgeTV takes an organization's content, could be educational, promotional, testimonials, whatever, and it wraps it in this secure private channel. So completely free from like external ads or those weird suggested videos you always get. The real mission here is turning that passive watching into an active moment of giving. And they've built some really quite incredible mechanics to make that happen.
Okay, so let's start right at the beginning, the core concept. The pledge video. What exactly is that? How does it, tie the money part in so closely?
Right. So a pledge video is basically a combination of two things. You've got the video file itself, which you upload to the video library. That's standard enough. But then it's combined with one or more assigned Connect payment forms. Connect is our flexible donation tool. And when you group these videos together, these paired videos, they form what's called a TV channel that you can then share.
Okay, embedding the ask. I get that part. But what stops someone from just, ignoring a little button in the corner while the emotional story is playing? How do you make them act?
Okay. That's where this key mechanic comes in. And honestly, it's a pretty clever bit of behavioral design. When a viewer actually clicks that active donation button, the one the organization set up the video pauses instantly.
Whoa, hang on. It pauses the video. Doesn't that kind of kill the mood? Like you stop the story right when someone's feeling it. Isn't there a risk you just annoy them?
That's a fair question. And, it's something people wonder about. But what we see, if the ask is timed well, is actually the opposite. The pause isn't meant to be jarring, really. It's about focus. Think about it. You've just seen something that created an emotional peak. Maybe inspiration, maybe sadness, empathy. And bam, the prompt appears. By pausing, the system ensures that energy goes straight into looking at the payment form. It stops you from, getting distracted, checking your phone, or just letting the feeling fade while the video keeps rolling.
Yeah.
It forces a quick decision, deal with the form, or close it and go back.
I see. So it isolates the transaction. You capture them right at that peak moment of engagement, and you sort of eliminate that, I'll click later, and then forget properly.
Exactly. It streamlines the impulse, makes it easy to act right then and there.
Okay. Capturing the impulse is crucial. But timing. Timing is so important in storytelling, right? And nonprofits often have multiple needs they're talking about in one video. How does pledgeTV handle targeting those asks within the flow of the story?
Yeah, this is where the level of control gets really quite sophisticated. You're definitely not stuck with just one donation form for the whole video. Organizations can actually include multiple different Connect payment forms. Maybe each one is for a different project or suggests a different amount, all within that single pledge video.
And the timing for these different forms, can you really dial that in?
Oh, absolutely. Very precise. Each form gets assigned a specific start time using, hours, minutes, seconds format, HHMMSS. This means you can map your financial asks directly to the narrative arc. Let's say the video talks about, a building fund from the 2-minute mark to the 4-minute mark. Well, during that exact window, the payment button automatically links to the building fund form. Then, maybe at 4 minutes and 1 second, it switches seamlessly to a form for, say, general operating support.
Wow. That's powerful because it keeps the ask relevant to what the viewer is literally seeing and hearing right then. Okay, but what about the button itself? If it's always there, how does it look? Can you customize it?
Totally. The standard payment button is very customizable. Obviously, you can change the colors, background, text to match the organization's branding. That's key. But you can also change the button label itself. You get up to 25 characters, so you can make the ask really clear, like give now or support kids or whatever fits.
And where does it sit on the screen? Can you move it around if it's blocking something important?
Yep, you choose.
Yep.
The platform lets the organization decide exactly which corner the payment button appears in. There isn't necessarily one best spot, It depends on the video. Sometimes top left is good, where the eye goes first. Other times, if you have, say, important text or action happening lower down, you might shift the button to the top right or bottom right corner so it doesn't obscure anything vital. That flexibility is there for optimizing.
Okay, so far we've mostly talked about spontaneous donations during viewing, but Pledge TV isn't just for that. It also has really solid tools for organizations that want to, well, monetize their content. Think online courses or maybe premium resource libraries, special educational videos. Right, so shifting from pure donation to more of a transaction, like buying access. How does the system handle that, making sure people pay before they watch?
There's an explicit option for that. An organization can choose to require payment in advance before anyone can watch that pledge video or even the whole channel it's part of. Now, if they turn this on, obviously they need to be really clear with the potential viewer about what's happening.
So they basically set up a sort of paywall message.
Exactly. They have to configure a display message. It's kind of like their sales pitch right before the purchase. They get up to 500 characters to explain the value and the requirement. And they can customize the button too. The advanced payment button label could say something specific like purchase course access or unlock premium content, not just pay.
Okay, and once someone pays, how long do they get access for? Is it forever?
That's also up to the organization. They control the access duration through the channel access options when they set up the TV channel. They can set it for, say, 24 hours, a month, 6 months, or even permanent access. It gives them control over their premium content lifecycle. Oh, and one more thing on this.
Yeah.
If you do require that advance payment, you also get the option to hide the standard donation button that usually shows up during the video.
Oh, so it becomes purely a purchase for content, not a mixed ask.
Right. Cleans up the experience if the goal is purely transactional for that specific piece of content.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting for me. We've covered capturing the gift, timing it right, even selling access. But the real power comes from learning what works and doing more of it right. Let's dive into the analytics. How do you measure success and replicate it?
Right. The performance review dashboard is the starting point. It gives you that clear, quantitative overview of how your TV channels are doing, basic performance metrics. But crucially, you can hover over the little dollar icon on the timeline, and it shows you the exact amount and the time marker when a donation happened.
Okay, so that timestamp is the first clue. It tells you when something connected with the viewer enough for them to give.
Precisely. Standard analytics gives you the how much money came in. This timestamp starts to hint at the why. And that leads us directly to the really unique feature, the emotional valence analytics.
Emotional valence. Okay, break that down. What's it actually tracking?
So this is pretty groundbreaking, actually. It essentially maps the video's emotional journey, the shifts in tone, the peaks of tension or joy, the narrative flow, and it overlays that with the donation data. It provides real data showing how a donor's feelings, which were influenced by what they were watching, directly impacted their decision to click that button and give.
Wow. So instead of just guessing, oh, that story about the rescue dog must have been effective, you can actually see a graph showing like a spike in empathy or hope at that specific moment, correlating directly with a cluster of donations.
Exactly that. It visually connects the emotional resonance with the giving behavior. You can pinpoint the exact moments that were most compelling financially. And that intelligence is just invaluable. It creates this feedback loop for content optimization. It tells you which specific image, which line of dialogue, maybe even which piece of background music triggered that response. Then you can take that insight and essentially try to replicate that successful element in your future videos. Optimize the scripting, the visuals, everything.
That really changes the game for content creation. You're not just telling a story. You're building almost like a finely tuned conversion pathway guided by actual emotional and behavioral data.
It's a much more data-driven approach to something that used to be purely intuitive.
Okay, but none of this amazing stuff matters if the video looks terrible or keeps stalking, right? Especially if you're asking for money or selling access, the technical delivery has to be solid.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Can't overlook the foundation. For this kind of high-stakes content, the viewing experience has to be smooth.
Right. Buffering is the enemy of emotion, I'd imagine. What does Pledge TV do to make sure the quality holds up?
So the system handles the technical heavy lifting behind the scenes. When you upload your video file, Pledge TV automatically converts it into several different resolutions and formats. This means that when someone watches, the player intelligently serves them the best possible quality video that their current internet connection and device can handle smoothly. It minimizes that frustrating lag and buffering, helping to maintain that emotional connection we were just talking about.
Good. Smart. Okay, finally, let's talk reach. You've made this fantastic, optimized video. How do you help it spread? How do you control how it looks when people share it?
Yeah, that's crucial too. Control extends to the sharing experience. Organizations can really tailor how their content appears when shared socially. If they allow social sharing for a channel, they can set up custom sharing messages at the channel level. And these custom messages will actually override any generic settings from the campaign.
So instead of Facebook just grabbing the first line of text or a random thumbnail, the organization dictates the preview.
Exactly. Full control over that social snippet. They can specify the exact Facebook post title, the Facebook post body text, choose a specific thumbnail image they want displayed, and even customize the default text for sharing on platforms like X, or what used to be Twitter, and also the default subject lines and body text for email shares. It just ensures that when someone hits share, the message that goes out is still strategic, on-brand, and designed to encourage clicks from new viewers.
So putting it all together, pledgeTV sounds like this really potent mix of smart analytics, seamless payment integration, and detailed customization. It goes way beyond just hosting a video. It feels more like a high-tech strategy, capturing generosity right when people feel it most, and then using data to get better and better at it.
I think that's a great summary. It really is about evolving video from just consumption into this direct, data-informed pathway for engagement and support. And maybe here's something for you, the listener, to think about. We touched on requiring payment in advance for certain content, like educational materials. How might that mandating a transaction, even a small one, fundamentally change the dynamic between an organization and its supporters? Does asking for payment, say, for valuable resources, actually increase perceived value and commitment? Or does it risk shifting the organization's identity too far from pure philanthropy? Interesting question.
Definitely something to mull over as you plan your next video strategy. For more information about this and all Click and Pledge products, make sure to visit clickandpledge.com and request for a one-on-one training or demo. Whether you are a client or curious about our platform, just ask us, and we will gladly get together with you to chat.